Welcome back to the Cossy Ask the channel. My name is Cossy. Welcome back to a brand new video. We've got some big departures to talk about that could happen at Arsenal. And I'm not talking about Tomiyasu, Partey. No, I'm talking Leandro Trossard, Gabriel Martinelli, Nwaneri, and Kai Havertz. All these players have been targeted by clubs in either Saudi Arabia or clubs around Europe, and they are wanted. And Trossard, his future has been unclear since the end of the campaign. Gabriel Martinelli's future has been unclear since January. Kai Havertz, he's been a little bit safe, but with Arsenal looking to sign a centre forward, should we sell when we can get the most amount of money this summer? That's a very big question. And Nwaneri. Nwaneri's camp are saying Arsenal are signing a right winger to back up Saka, and they're signing a number 10 to back up Odegaard. What is there a clear pathway for Nwaneri, or should we do what the likes of Omar Hutchinson have done, the likes of Heaven, right? It's called Heaven, right? Have done. Heaven going to Manchester United, the likes of Chido Obi Martin. And I'll tell you, it would be devastating for Arsenal to lose Nwaneri in such circumstances. So what should Arsenal do? Forget signing Madueke and keep Nwaneri happy. Forget signing Eze and play Nwaneri as a number 10 next to Odegaard, or maybe in that Odegaard role with rotation. What should we do? Because it doesn't look good in terms of these players, and we would love to keep them. At least me, I would love to keep them. Hit the like button. This is heavily discussional, so I want your thoughts in this video. If this video gets to 200 likes, I promise I'll do a video on all the strikers Arsenal have been linked with, and we shall be ranking them from worst to the best, right? So let's get into it. Let's start off with Leandro Trossard, because Leandro Trossard is the one that we anticipated that he could actually leave. And there was talk around the end of the season that Saudi Arabia had actually approached Arsenal, during the January transfer window for Trossard, and Arsenal said, no, he's not for sale. We want to keep him at least until the end of the campaign. And when the campaign ended, Arsenal proposed a new deal to Leandro Trossard, where they wanted to increase the salary of the player. But I want to clarify on this. It is being said that Arsenal were not looking to increase the contract length. They just wanted to change the terms and conditions so that they can actually earn a little bit more. And maybe the Trossard camp isn't having it. They're saying you're either extending our player's contract with the length and the money that's earning, or we look at other options. Now, around Italy, clubs are interested in Trossard. Around Turkey, those guys in Turkey, Fenerbahce, Besiktas, and Galatasaray. What do you want with us? You've taken Leroy Sané from us, and now you want to take Trossard. But they're also interested. And the argument around Trossard and Martinelli is quite very interesting. The big point of discussion is, do Arsenal really keep Trossard around and sell Martinelli because they want to upgrade on the left wing spot, or do they keep Martinelli? He becomes a backup to a player like Rodrigo, and they sell Leandro Trossard. For the people like me, I would say keep Trossard. You can get more money from Gabriel Martinelli, and that can help you facilitate a move for Rodrigo. But then there is another section of people that are saying, listen, Trossard is getting older, right? Sell him, get some little money, spend big on a left winger, and then have two quality left wingers. That is Trossard, that is Gabriel Martinelli, and maybe someone like Rodrigo. But for me, this Arsenal team have bled out a lot of experience this summer. And that's why I am concerned, and that's why I'm saying this is kind of an emergency meeting, right? We have bled out a lot of experience. Jorginho, 30 plus, gone. Partey, 30 plus, gone. Tomiyasu, one of the first signings of this project, gone. Zinchenko, he's one of the very experienced leaders in the team. He's going. And, of course, you can talk about other players that we know are on their way out. Even if you don't like Sterling, he was experienced at least, right? But the whole point here for me, guys, is that you can't allow to lose more experience. You know, one of the things that makes Trossard a very clutch player is he has lived and he's reliving many of these moments that he's actually capitalizing on. Like, he comes onto the pitch and the way he looks at the game is so different from how a 19-year-old Ethan Nwaneri looks onto the game. And you find that Trossard is always in the right spot at the right time. He's always going to generate the right power, into the ball. And you're like, how does this guy do it? How does he become so clinical? The reason for that is he's so experienced. We've been talking about forwards becoming very, very good as they age. Ronaldo, Benzema, and the others that I've always been talking about on this channel. And maybe that's it. Maybe strikers are now stopping to use a lot of energy and a lot of running. And now they're like, why don't I calm down, understand the game, read the game, instead of running up and down, and just be in the right place at the right time? Look at the goals Harry Kane scores. He's always on the right move, at the edge of the shoulder of the defender, and he's always going to be like an extra second earlier than the defender, and boom, that is done. And that is Leandro Trossard for us. So for me, if you ask me, should Arsenal sell Trossard willingly? No. But we've got a problem. If Arsenal are really looking to upgrade on the left wing, Trossard might feel like his time at the club is getting over. One, Arsenal are going to sign a centre forward, so they're going to have Jesus, Kai Havertz, and the new centre forward, right? Those are three striker options. Trossard won't be an option there. Then Arsenal are trying to sign Eze. That means that Trossard again in midfield has been eliminated. So right wing, Arsenal trying to sign Madueke. So that tells you, if you're Trossard, you better look for a club. Otherwise, you might go a long time without playing, especially if Arsenal upgrade with a new left winger. But for me, Trossard, keep. Unless otherwise, keep times 1 billion times. And that takes us to the discussion into Gabriel Martinelli. If I want a keep for Trossard, what do I prefer and what would I want for Martinelli? Now, I'll tell you the truth. Martinelli has dropped off in the last 2 years. He hasn't been the same ever since that 22-23 campaign where he scored 15 goals and assisted 5 times. He hasn't been the same. But what the 22-23 campaign teaches us about Martinelli, his game is about goals. He's the kind of forward that scores goals. And what is Arsenal's biggest problem is goals. But the problem with Mikel Arteta is he won't play such players that want to play closer to goal. He won't play them closer to goal. And with Gabriel Martinelli, we have seen him struggle again and again because he's so far away. His starting position is so far away from goal. When Arsenal are playing with Martinelli and Xhaka on the left-hand side, so Xhaka, if you remember a lot of the time, Xhaka was like a box crusher, right? And Martinelli was so narrow and very close to Xhaka that when Xhaka had a shot and it bounced out, Martinelli would pounce. When Martinelli had a shot and it bounced out, Xhaka would pounce. They were like closer. But the relationship between Declan Rice and Martinelli is one that is very difficult for me to understand. Like, the left-hand side of this Arsenal team is so disconnected. It looks like these guys don't train together. It's like a bunch of kids that have come from wherever they've come from, and they meet, they have zero chemistry, they have zero connectivity. You look at the relationship between Odegaard and Saka, Odegaard, White and Saka, or Odegaard, Timber and Saka. There is connectivity. It shows that these guys are training together. It shows that these guys are playing football together. But when it comes to the left-hand side, Martinelli and Rice, no. And Rice is getting better by the day, by the way, but Martinelli is none. So maybe we allow Martinelli a season, one more season, where he plays closer to goal with a lot of freedom. And if that doesn't work out, we let him go. But then there's a big question, because Arsenal know they can upgrade this summer. In January, we could have signed Kvaratskhelia, massive upgrade. Right now in the summer, we can sign Rodrigo, massive upgrade. And Arsenal know it is not every summer that you're going to have an opportunity like Rodrigo. So I'm sorry, I'm going to say this. Gabriel Martinelli. If Arsenal can get Gordon or Rodrigo, strictly those two. Don't talk to me about Lookman. Don't talk to me about Semenyo. Don't talk to me about your Karami Thomas of this world. If Arsenal can get either Gordon or Rodrigo, I'm sorry, Martinelli can go. And besides, Arsenal will need to raise some money this summer. And he's one of the players that can give us some big chunk of cash. I think 70 million, 75 million, we could get, an amount close to that. So for me, Martinelli, for sale, yes. It is painful. It's, it's raw pain. You want him to stay. But for the sake of the season that we are going into, for the sake of the fact that Arsenal cannot afford to put another foot wrong, I would be okay if Mikel Arteta called Martinelli and said, listen, son, you're a good player, great guy, but my job is on the line if I don't win, and I'm going to have to upgrade on the left wing. And I'm sorry if this is a bad decision for your career. I know you love Arsenal. I got to go, right? Now, Ethan Nwaneri. Now, with Ethan Nwaneri, I have seen Arsenal lose good players. Chido Obi Martin, Haven, both went to Manchester United last summer. And then Omar Hutchinson, I loved Omar Hutchinson. Charlie Patino. And a couple of other players, a couple of other young players that we all wanted to keep and were never given a chance. Balogun and the others. You know the story, right? When it comes to Nwaneri, he's different. Nwaneri is actually a player Arsenal have relied on before in a difficult season, and he proved to be vital. Now, what's going on? Ethan Nwaneri's camp is trying to negotiate a deal with Arsenal. And prior to these contract negotiations, before, when they were convincing him to stay, Mikel Arteta and whoever is running the show told Nwaneri's camp there was going to be a clear pathway. There was going to be a clear road for this guy to the first team. And Mikel Arteta has fulfilled that. But now, the camp of the player are looking at it in this way. They're saying, guys, what's going on? You're signing a right winger in Noni Madueke. You're also signing Eberechi Eze. Eberechi Eze is effectively the last nail in the coffin for Nwaneri and Nwaneri's game time at Arsenal. Not next season, not the season after that. So they have used the word delicate, right? And that was Ghana Blog? Yeah, Ghana Blog. He says that contract negotiations have reached a delicate stage. And what they mean is that Nwaneri wants assurances. Nwaneri wants assurances that game time will come. Nwaneri wants assurances that he will be part. Now, what should Arsenal do? It's a very, very bad season that's coming up. We should be ruthless. Should we let go of Nwaneri, maybe on loan? If he agrees to sign and go on loan, should we let him go on loan and sign Madueke and Eze, who are ready to win now players? Or should we, right? Or alternatively, should we not sign either Eze or Madueke or both of them and trust Ethan Nwaneri? It is both, walking at the edge of a razor blade. Because if you say that Arsenal should sign sign Madueke and Eze, then that means Nwaneri is like, I'm not going to get game time. The guys you're signing are young, and the players that are occupying those positions, Saka and Odegaard, are also young as well, and they're in their prime. So I've got to go. And if you're saying that Eze and Madueke shouldn't be signed, or one of them shouldn't be signed, you're saying that Arsenal should trust a young 19-year-old or 20-year-old in a season that is a do or die. Difficult. Absolutely difficult. But this is, for me, what I should do. We don't have to lose Nwaneri, and we don't have to sign Madueke. For me, let Nwaneri occupy the Madueke position, use that Madueke money to go and sign a left winger, who is versatile like Rodrigo, can play also on the right wing, and we shall be absolutely, absolutely all right. And then Kai Havertz. With Kai Havertz, clubs in Germany are monitoring his situation, but they're more interested in signing him next summer. However, the arrival of a new centre forward changes the perspective. And it changes the perspective in Arsenal's view, but also in Kai Havertz's view. In Arsenal's view, we're talking, now that we have a centre forward, and Gabriel Jesus is also coming back, can we sell Kai Havertz when we can get the most amount of money out of this guy? Maybe to Bayern. Of course, Bayern are trying to sign Walter Med, but if you can give them Kai, maybe they could listen. In Kai's perspective is like, I am going to become a second striker. Do I want to be a second striker? Maybe not. And what about Gabriel Jesus? What if he comes and hits a run of form? What happens to me, right? But I think with Kai, this would be my words. Keep. If Kai Havertz is still at the club and Jesus is still at the club, keep both of them for this summer. And next summer, it should be Gabriel Jesus who leaves unless a very good offer comes in for Kai Havertz.